So what's your comfort level at this point?
You know, I'm not going to gauge it in terms of comfort levels. I think we made our case. It's also helpful that we have a consensual plan. I'd like to have my attorneys join me up here.
They don't want to join you.
I know. I'm soon not to be radioactive, but it's good that we have broad brush consensus in the plan. We think we've made our case and we've met our burden. Of course, the judge has a heavy burden. He and his staff and his clerks to go through this record, which is pretty significant. But as he said today, he's going to announce his opinion on the 7th, Friday. So we're looking forward to that.
What's the likelihood he would blow this thing up?
You know, Jim, I'm going to stay away here again from likelihoods. Like I said, I mean, from my perspective, having done this for, several decades now, I think we've met all the conditions we need to meet. But here again, he's the final voice in this matter. He's got a lot of work to do, a heavy decision. Frankly, the way he's run this process is commendable. You know, this has been an unwieldy process, and he brought some order to it. He and the mediators, which have been very thankful. And even you saw today, everybody got a voice. Objectors got a voice, individual objectors got a voice. This is democracy at work, and now part of that democracy is for the judge to digest all that and render an opinion, and we're hopeful that'll be a favorable one.
The judge seemed to question the consulting fees. They might have been a little high. What do you think about that now? How much are they right now?
You know, they're significant, but I think everybody has to keep in mind, as Mr. Bennett spoke about today, we've subsumed a case that could have taken 3 or 5 years. Some other municipal bankruptcies are still in. We've rationalized somewhere in the neighborhood of about $8 billion in debt straight out, and going forward, given the city about $1.7 billion over the next 10 years to reinvest. When you take that into context, into the amount of fees, which are probably going to be somewhere in the neighborhood of fairly significant, you have to look at the value you're getting for those fees. You don't do this kind of work, precedent setting, dealing with these issues on the come. You want to do it right, and we've got the A-team at work for us, so that costs money, but it's money well spent.
How is the end result compared to what you thought you were going to end up with 18 months ago?
Well, Rod, I think I've even said to you and Jim and others, this is a better outcome than I anticipated. I thought it was going to be quite contentious, very volatile up to the end. Frankly, I want to be thankful to a number of people for the approach that they've taken and the consensual resolution we've reached with all the parties. And that's just not, first of all, with Governor Snyder, leadership in the state legislature, coming in with that, the DIA Foundation and founders, the mediators and their band of brothers and sisters in that effort. The mayor, both mayors and both city councils and their team, the way we work through this, the retirement systems, the retiree associations, the citizens of the city of Detroit who have soldiered through a fairly, we had a volatile beginning, but things seem to have settled down a little bit. They're starting to see some progress. Who now come up and say, this looks like we have a brighter day coming forward. The feel in the city, people from the western part of the state that come in and say thankful, the citizens of the state of Michigan. We'd like to think that we've turned a corner, but there's a lot of work to be done. And that's going to be taken up by this administration, by the city council, by the governor, but the amount of effort that's gone into this and the fact that two of our most ardent opponents, Sincor and Fidget, are now partners with the city. I think I said during the hearing, I hope the marriage is a lot better than the courtship. But they're committed, and frankly, let's just put it on a financial standpoint, for them to get value out of their settlements, they've got to contribute and make an investment in the city, and that's a good thing.
Do you wish the city had more money to invest in more aspects? Blight?
Oh, sure. Absolutely. Would we like to have the revitalization and reinvestment initiatives completed tomorrow? We'd like to see them completed within 3 years. But everybody like to see blight, commercial blight, which, as the blight report that Dan Gilbert and his group put together says, may not be made. We'd like to see that done tomorrow. All lights on.
Is that enough for the judge to deny the plan?
No, the plan has to have, and I think even no one has said it is not feasible, and no one has said it will not provide adequate services. Everybody said it's skinny, so we'll be on a little bit of a diet for a while, but that's okay. And everybody said that if we keep faith with sort of the course that we've been put on, that it's productive. And everyone said that this administration and city council, if they work together, which they're doing, and certainly have the gravitas, the ability to get it done, that'll be accomplished. And that's what we're looking for.
Is confirmation all or nothing, or can this judge tell you to tweak it?
Well, I think the judge said today, under Chapter 9, the doctrine generally is that the city is the sole proponent of a plan. Certainly we've tried to take into account any suggestions we've received throughout the course of this case and incorporate them how we've handled ourselves and in the plan itself. So we think we've done that. So I think we've met our burden, but certainly, as I said, we'll wait to see what happens on the 7th.
Can you flesh out a little bit what Mr. Bennett said about you having ulcers, him being a little concerned about the maintenance? In particular, how bad is the Windsor Tunnel at this point?
Well, you know, I don't have ulcers. I do have a few more.